Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, we are now recording. All right, everybody. This recording is essentially for the editorial board of the Amplifier. You guys know me. I'm Amar, Sunny Boy, Barbara, and Nick.
Hi.
So what we are going to do today is just sort of talk through the process of what we are thinking about in terms of how we are going to work with this. And then we're going to meet again in a few days and apply this on a set of videos. So uh, the first thing we do, of course, like with reviewing a paper that we have been, we have accepted to review, is we read the paper, right? So we look through and we read the paper. The same thing here. We watch the video. And because it's a video, it's relatively short. None of them are very long. We actually have the longest ones in our set, and that's because they are the animated videos. So they're stories. And you can't really shorten the stories. It's harder. But again, that's something we'll talk about when we actually review the stories, which we are not doing today. So we watched them a few times, a couple of times at least, and then because these are videos, we turned off or we just put the phone down or move away and just listen to the soundtrack without the images. And we're doing this to, of course, change the modality, right? So take the visual elements out, focus only on the Boli, which is the oral text, and then try to see how the Boli works by itself, and then of course multimodally and translingually in relationship to the images and the video. So that allows us to sort of get a big picture, sort of an impression of the video. It also gives us some initial feelings and reactions. Do we like it? We do not like it. What else could have been done? What could be done better? What could be, added? What could be taken away? What needs to be highlighted? What points need to be, raised and supported through evidence? Do they cite the literature? Is the literature that they cite, broad and sufficient enough? It's the kind of stuff that we are really doing in any review of a paper. We look at the literature. Now, because some of these videos don't necessarily have literature, right? So, for example, the one about the making of the song, it's essentially a set of interviews with the singer, right? Which is fantastic. It's a fantastic short video, but the nature of it, of course, and the kind of people who are doing it will not be, they're not academics. So we can't expect them necessarily also to have that reading or access to it. So I guess one of the things that we as editors and handling editors and reviewers will need to think about is who are the people who are making this video. Are these experts in the field, which we also have? Are these students, which we also have? Are these community members, which we also have, right? So depending on the nature of the people who are creating these things, we will probably want to, frame our feedback appropriately. And so we may want to cite different kinds of research in different ways. So in case where, for example, we are dealing with a layperson, instead of using theoretical terms, we may want to, use everyday language sort of to explain the concepts, and then maybe introduce the term, and maybe introduce some of the key readings, and maybe even suggest how they can access it, or maybe even give them a copy in certain cases if we want to. Right. So we're looking at the literature, and just like anything else, we are also, of course, looking at the quality of the analysis. So, for example, in the Pakistani cricket paper video, which is really interesting in many ways, and they use, because it's Pakistani English and looking at cricket commentaries and things, they've used a lot of work on morphology. So they went back and looked at the Pakistani English, work on morphology of Pakistani English, which happens to be my work back in 2004, which I don't agree with anymore, yet still, of course, it is. So, so the question would be, in that case, to expand the literature base, say, all right, yeah, that's interesting. And yes, we can look at these morphological variations here, but let's also look at the other aspects in relation to cricket commentary or whatever happens. And so how do you do around those things? So expanding their literature base, looking at the quality of the analysis. And again, if we think that by doing certain readings and thinking about certain things in different ways, the nature of their analysis and their findings might change, then that's fine, right? The whole point is that. Of course, because we are also on a video, we are not writing a blinded review for a paper, we do have to be nice. We have to think about couching it in ways which is really, it's professional, but it's also supportive. We are not criticizing people for the negativity, but we are sort of giving them ways in which they can build those videos. Now, this is in a sense something I did before I actually even shared these videos with you guys. I did review all of them, right? And there were certain videos and things that I did not pass on, right? So in a sense, everything that goes on, it goes into the draft issue, from my perspective, has the potential of being published. I'm not saying it can be published. I'm not saying that in the
Okay.
form it is, it's ready to be published. I'm not saying that at all. But everything that we have has the potential of turning it into something really good. And that's why I've selected them in the first place.
But
Otherwise,
they're already on the website, right? And
they're,
it's
yes, absolutely. And Nick, thank you. Maybe we can do this at least. Uh, let me just do this now with you guys.
yeah. So I checked the website and I saw that the videos are already there. So that's why I've been able to check some of the videos, specifically the ones that are assigned to me. But and what I like the most about it is that I'm not sure whether that's really the direction we're going. That we're opening it to everybody, like anyone can comment, can give a feedback on the video, aside
Absolutely.
from the reviewers.
Absolutely correct. So let's say the one we are going to eventually review is the stories. For example, A Love Tale of Putri Seri, but then this one. So this is the main paper that comes with it. So, so if you go to the website and you open the issues, then draft and reviews and issue 1.1 table of contents, right? And then you've got all of them listed here, right? They're all here. And published, of course, we don't have anything published at the moment. So for each of the entries, at the moment, they are only on YouTube. But actually, I've posted them on so not Bilibili, yes. But I haven't done the back end work and did put in the website then. Something I have to do this weekend. But for each of these entries, they are on YouTube, so they're all accessible to all of us. On Bilibili coming soon. Then also for a number of the entries, not all of them, it says here to click to download a resource pack with adaptable activities for undergraduate and postgraduate teaching, language learning, and self/community learning. So if you click on this, it actually downloads another file. So it opens up a file which looks like this. Let me share again. So this is what they all look like. They're very similar. I sort of initiated the outlines for all of them and then sent them all to all the authors. And the authors then worked on them. So that's why they're all here. The concepts, the key concepts, the metadata, the overview, teaching connections, learning outcomes, activity menus for different groups, detailed activities, all of the stuff for teaching notes, assessment options, critical perspective, cross-viewing links, additional resources. They're all here. Right. Now, this is a very unique feature of the Amplifier. I don't know of any other journal that actually provides teaching and learning resources for a range of different contexts with the papers that are being published. And it just doesn't, I don't know of it in print media. And of course, what we are doing with video, that doesn't exist. So this is all novel.
Yeah.
So when I was doing all of this, I said, if you're going to create something new, let's just go all out and do new things with this. So again, this is an experiment. And maybe next time we do it, we will do it differently. But the idea is we want to provide as many different ways of using the material as we can.
Yes.
Right. So let's go back here. Right. So Then you have the abstract. And then in this case, because two examples of Shinji's students' work included in the issue are here, right? So this only happens in two cases. It's in the case with our paper. And the other case where this happens is in the, where is it gone? Singing Prestige into Being, which is about a song, making the song in Shina language. And this connects to a song. So this, in these two cases, the one we are working on and the people who are working on this, actually that's Wafa and her team in United Arab Emirates who are working on this particular entry. So, so that's also connected. So it's a little bit of making of and then the actual song. So for us, we have the, the making of sort of so it's essentially even broader. It's actually why does Shin do this particular approach? Shin is actually a professor. She teaches at the University of Malaya. Do you guys know her? Nick, have you met Shin?
No, no, not really.
She works with Stephanie. So I've met her a few times at University of She's really good. And so she teaches at University of Malaya. And so she has really taken on the credible approach, and because I've done workshops there a number of years ago. And so she's sort of integrated it into her own teaching. And then with that, she's getting her students to create videos. So in the main video, she talks about her classes and her teaching and what the students are doing. And then,
Mark,
yes.
Maybe this would be one of the concerns of the reviewers as well. If just like this, in this example, do they have to give a comment to the accompanying videos and to the resource materials? Because I feel like if they have to and they needed to revise, they couldn't revise it anymore, especially the accompanying videos. That might be sort of a probable issue.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Now, I don't want to talk about our videos today, so let's hold on to that conversation. But you're absolutely right. I think for now that's only related to us. The case with the Sheena song, that doesn't apply. Actually, the Sheena song, the video of the song itself, I've already worked extensively with them. The original song was 15 minutes, and it's now 4. So I've actually worked with them. I've been working with them for over 2 years almost to get this song done. But the making of it, that's independent and that's new. But so the question I think that you have is only relevant to us at this point in time. So let's come back and talk about it when we discuss the videos.
Okay.
Okay. But when you have, like here, you have students' work, do we need an acknowledgement of having consent forms, like for students' work?
So that's a great question. And if you notice here, the authors of this are actually the students themselves.
So the students themselves.
Yeah,
okay.
so the students themselves are the authors.
That's
They actually are the ones
different.
who submitted the videos.
Sure.
Right? So this is the part of the submission process. So the students submitted it. And so you will see Shin is a co-author, but she is not even the first author. Of course, she should be a co-author. She's a professor and supported this work. And notice these also come with activity packs.
Oh, lovely.
Right. And the activity packs here were done with Shin, but with her students. So this is a fantastic example of how a professor can engage their students into creating these materials and resources. And also an example of how the students continue to work on these projects even after the semester is over. So will they revise it? I think they might actually. But again, this is something we will talk about later. So in terms of the process, we watch the videos, we listen to the talks, we look at the website, we get everything done, and we review it just like any other paper. We think about the literature, we think about the analysis, we think about the quality of analysis, we think about the discussion. So all of those elements that you have in a research paper are already here. Now, for those of you who have a credible report that you are reviewing, the credible reports are different. So if you are doing a credible, I know Barbara is an expert on credible projects already. But if you guys haven't done a lot of them, then I would suggest that have a look on the journal website, the there is a link to how to create a credible project report, and it has particular stages which are quite specific to a credible project report. So a credible project report is not identical to a research paper, and it's not identical to a digital story.
Ahmad,
Right?
when is the special issue coming?
So good question. This issue, once we are done, right? So I have a general timeline in mind. Good question. That's a great question. So if you see on these videos, right, so they all go onto the YouTube website, but if you click, I should not have done that. If you click on the YouTube video, pause, how do I go on that page?
It must be turned in by March 15th.
Yeah, it says March 15th, right? So the idea at the moment is by March 15th, if we send all the reviews back to the authors, given the nature of this work and maybe the kind of revisions people might have to take, I would give them at least, I'm thinking giving them 6 to 8 weeks at least.
Good idea.
Right? So that makes, if we say March 15th, let's say April, right? Practically speaking. So that means end of June, early June is when we expect for the revisions to come in. Now, at that time, when the revisions come in, we will have to make certain decisions. I don't want to jump ahead and make those decisions, but the kind of decisions we will need to make are things like, do we now split this volume into things that are almost ready to be published, just need some sort of final, sort of back end work and, sort of final stuff that needs to be done? Or are there videos that really need to get another round of feedback and really do need to be redone again? They're not ready yet. They need to be reworked still. So we might have to split it into two, and the ones that are almost done, we can, finalize them and publish them. Those that need revisions, we then send them for continuing public review, and then go another round of review. So this time we have almost 2.5 months, maybe the next time 6 weeks for the reviews and things. And then again, another round of revisions. And at that time, after the second revision, I think we will have to make a final decision. Is it okay now? Is it publishable? Or yes, nice, but we can't publish it. It's still there on our draft pages. So it isn't not there. It just hasn't made the final cut. I'm hoping that we won't have any of those, but that's something we'll come to when we come to it.
Okay, I have a question about the recording the review now, okay? Because we haven't got an example yet. So hopefully maybe, I would like to sit down and record such a review. So Akmar, like what tool or how would you go about that, doing the review?
That's a
The
fantastic,
recording itself.
that's a fantastic question. There are different ways of doing it. We can do it, for example, for here right now, we can do it through Zoom, right? So I can do a share screen just like I did, and we just show the video there, right? So we could just watch the video, and because we've already watched it, we can say, all right, let's go to this point. A conversation between the handling editor and the reviewer. Say, so where do you think we should start? What are some of the main things? Maybe you can have a conversation with the reviewer and say, okay, so these are the main things that I want to talk about. What about you? Okay, these are the main things I want to talk about. All right, let's go.
So the recording is recorded by two people.
It can be, right? So this is, for example, what we will be doing when we are doing our trial recording. We will actually do it 3 ways because there are 3 of us. But usually it will be at least 2. But I think in some cases, for example, I think WAFA has a team of 3 or 4 people. So the idea is that before we actually do the final reviews, we actually meet the editorial team, right? So for example, let's say we have a project where we have an edit, we have a subject specialist that is it's that, let's say it's a subject specialist on the particular topic the video is about. Let's say in our cases, it's about indigenous language maintenance in Southeast Asia. Right. Now, in this particular case, what we have here, we already have Nick, who's an expert in these sort of situations, and that's good. Right. So this is where, for example, Barbara has a lot of experience in African context, and she's done a lot of other storytelling, and she's got something else coming up in linguistics and the human sciences and other things, which is also creating narratives and stories that she has done in a very different context. So so in a sense, for you guys, it would be all right. So this is something that you have seen before. You are familiar with the literature, both of you, so you can do it in a certain way. Uh, Other cases, it might be that the reviewers have different sets of expertise, right? So a reviewer is an expert, say, for example, in gay language, gay lingo, right? Or and then that's their expertise. That's not my expertise. I'm a social linguist, right? So then, in a sense, we work as a team. Then the reviewer, let's say, who's the expert on gay lingo, focuses on the feedback on the gay lingo. Me, as a sociolinguist, focuses on the feedback on the broader sociolinguistic context and interpretations and discussion. So the discussion meeting within the editorial committee essentially helps us to highlight what our main feedback should be, what would be a good final outcome for a published quality video, and how best do we give feedback to these authors to help them achieve that, hopefully with one round of revisions only. Now, this is where the video helps, right? Because we've got the intonation, we can pause their video and stop it and say, here, look here, this is what you have said, this is what you have cited. Now pause here, let's share a screen to a research paper by so-and-so paper. We show it there. See, look at this paper, this person is saying here this. Notice how your work and this is related, and maybe you can connect it. Now, notice what we have done. Because it's a video, we have actually not just told them cite this person, we have actually showed them what that citation looks like, why we are saying this citation is relevant to them, and how they can use it. Right? So we're not leaving the feedback as a big blanket. Right? We're actually connecting it and building it. Now, we will also work, one of the things I think I shared in the group chat is something that I worked when I was working on the Slate project, and I think Sylvia is quite familiar with this work, is on giving feedback on writing. How do you give effective feedback? So it's not about whether feedback is effective. It's about how do you design feedback that will be effective. So it's a design pedagogy. So in designing that, I looked at how do you actually create feedback that leads to effective pickup and uptake. So how does it lead to uptake, and what does that look like? So in a sense, I think I've sent that paper, and I've sort of been working in the background on how that will convert itself into the kind of feedback we are giving. Right. So things like, as I just said, instead of just saying, hey, cite this paper, we show them in our feedback a copy of that citation, show them, maybe highlight with a text marker the paragraph of where we want them to focus on, and say why. So notice what we are doing. We are teachers, right? Which we are. So we are actually thinking of this feedback not necessarily as a review of saying no to somebody. I think Barbara, she'll probably come back. But she's back. Yes. Okay.
I don't know what happened.
It's okay. So we're not thinking of this feedback necessarily as saying no, right? We had already identified papers we think they are potentially publishable. So the idea is to really mentor them. We are like tutors. We are private tutors. We are private mentors.
Exactly.
We're not thinking of ourselves as high and mighty professors who are writing behind double blind review process and really, making the author uncomfortable in so many ways. But rather we're mentors, we are elder brothers and sisters, and trying to work with them in a certain way. And I think that's really the kind of ethos we want to bring to them, right from the very onset, because that is video, right? It's very personable. And that also means that when they listen to us, when they watch us, they feel good about it. And they actually engage with the work in a different way. But observe this, and this is actually really, really important for us. And this is one of the things I have been definitely planning into this whole process is what we are actually doing and what we are actually teaching is not only to the authors of the papers we are reviewing. Because this whole process is public, what I'm going to do this semester, for example, when I'm getting my students to create credible projects, I'm going to ask them to look at look at not just the videos that have been submitted, but look at the feedback that the reviewers have given them. What kind of feedback was given to this submission? How did the authors pick this up? So now I can use that material to guide my students to avoid the pitfalls in the first place. So I can tell them, watch the video and the feedback videos and learn how the feedback is how the feedback is useful to this paper. And you make sure that you don't make the same mistakes in your work.
Yeah.
Right. So we have a pedagogical purpose that goes beyond our journal. And I think this is, again, it's kind of a textbook, right? We're creating the resource that becomes a textbook for people. And that's why we're creating activities and resources. So in the long run, I'm sort of seeing this as creating a whole ecosystem, right? Where we're sort of guiding, supporting, mentoring, providing networks, and then connecting it across different communities so that it can be utilized in different ways. So for myself, I've actually I've just written 3 different abstracts for 3 different conferences, 3 different keynotes on the amplifier. I just did the first one yesterday for a university in India. And part of my keynotes in all of these, I've got activities. So I'm getting everybody to, okay, watch the videos, create these things, give feedback. So essentially through my conferencing, also getting more people involved in doing this.
Lovely.
Right. So I think that's part of the kind of work that we really want to be doing here is using this as a way, the amplifying our teaching as well, right? We are all teachers. Let's amplify our teaching, use this amplifier to go out and teach a lot of people through the ways that we are giving feedback and also creating models. I wouldn't be surprised in the next 2 or 3 years, we will have more journals like this. I actually want that to happen. And if we set a good model, then we want other people to imitate that model. That's the whole story about, fractals, creating alternatives. That's the whole idea. We want more and more of these. So because we want more of these, we want to set the best examples ourselves.
Amar, I really like that idea, that, mentorship approach. Some time ago, I think I've also opened up the idea that if it's possible that before they submit a video, they submit like a concept paper or a storyboard first, if they want to, so that we can check before they actually record the video. Because I mean, in my experience, it can take a while to record the video, and then if there's a revision required, I will have to do it again. It can be uh, tasky for someone who is not techie.
Correct.
But this is something moving forward, perhaps after the release of our first issue. I feel like if we really wanted to pursue that mentorship approach, I think we have to start it from the very beginning, the conceptualization up until the end.
Agreed. I agree.
And by the way, will the reviews be published as well?
Video, right? So it will all be video. So that's what I mean by an ecosystem, right? So right now, sorry, not this one. So right now, we have, at the moment, we only have the video. Later on, the Bilibili, we have the teaching learning resource and the other connections. So later on, as our material grows, I will then add here another link, public review by so and so, or I don't know the language of it, but there will be a video to it, right? So the review video will go right here. So that's creating the ecology. Right. So we create that. And then when the review comes in, and if there are additional reviews, then it all goes here. And then yeah, exactly. So then if somebody wants to come later on and do a research paper on how revisions happen, the data is right there. Yeah. Excellent. So, Nick, your question again, I think it's a point I absolutely agree. Right now, if you look at the at the website, I have said that this is an annual journal, right? So annually, because of course we don't want to rush it. We want to get this right.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
don't want to rush this. So let's get this right. And then after the second one, we can say, all right, so do we want to make it biannual? Or I don't want it to be rotating, but maybe biannual or something. Uh, ISSN, I haven't received it. I have submitted it. So maybe when we come back and open the call of Nick for the second round, those are the kind of things we really need to think about. You're absolutely right. It does open up more workload as well. So, right. So if we choose to do that, that adds quite a bit of work. Now, in some cases, I actually have already done this with some of the videos. You guys don't know this, and I won't tell which ones it is, but I've actually had some of the videos remade. So I watched them and I said, no, this is not going to happen. Redo it. It's not good. I still think they need to be done again, but they're much better than they were initially. So yes, so there is some sort of mentoring initially that can be done. In some of the other cases, especially some of the videos that my students created, for example, the Nishu Shaifer or the one from Indonesia. That's all. Indonesian one is this one, Suara. I don't know if you've seen this, Nick. This is something you should also watch. Very relevant to the Philippines. It's about it's an excellent project that she did. But my students, of course, I've trained them, and and these students, this is their third project, credible project. So they have been trained, they have experience, and I give them feedback on their presentations. I do give a lot of feedback. So they're quite different. But you're absolutely right. I think that we will have to add some elements, or maybe what we could do alternatively is create some video resources on how to do this, creating guidelines. At this moment, I've done some drafts, written drafts, like the editorial notes and things, but maybe we can create some notes like those for authors as well. There's absolutely a lot we can do. Absolutely, I agree. And we should be thinking about it.
Okay, great.
Oh, thanks. Yes, good. All right, so we'll set a time to meet again and then go through those. But in the meanwhile, I will share this with the rest of the editorial board. And rest of you, please share your thoughts with us. If you can do a video, audio note, anything you like. We are working with technologies and experimenting with things. All right, so I'm going to stop the recording now.
Thank you.